So I'm back here at Excel, this time for Black Hat Europe, all about security. Takes me right back to when I actually had a proper job and was trying to deal with security. A lot of it was really boring, just kind of trying to make sense of stuff and what might go wrong, which puts you into a state of paranoia and loathing and fear and worry. God blimey. Now there's reminiscence for you. But a good question is the fact that, if money is more expensive these days, basically budgets are being cut, then what's the impact on security, and what's the impact for security leaders in terms of how they need to still deliver what they're expected to deliver with less cash? Part of the answer comes from there isn't that much difference at the low level for security tools in terms of what they're doing versus other operational tools. Essentially, they're collating information and making sense of it. So a lot of the fundamental elements of that are going to stay the same, whether you're in network management or whether you're in operations or whether you're in security management. You're still building a picture. It's just what you're trying to do with that picture that varies. What that means, I was in a session this morning and one person was pointing out how the data that you collect can be used for different purposes. And that's really interesting from a security perspective, because ultimately in security, you're collecting data in order to prove whether or not there's going to be a problem. It doesn't save money, it doesn't make money, it's just it's money you have to spend in order to find that out. So the whole risk management probability impact thing applies, but ultimately you're constantly weighing up whether or not it matters. Whereas if you think about what you can do with that information from other perspectives, so you've already collected a whole bunch of information about users and how they're using systems. You collated a bunch of information about the systems themselves, the networks, the devices, the endpoints, and so on. How could that information be used otherwise? And sure, there may be a way to pump that into operations and then drive more efficiency. An example was given on software licensing, just finding out that people aren't using stuff, and therefore money can be saved by not spending on those software licenses. And there's other uses as well. The irony there, of course, is that a lot of vendors came into the security market that weren't actually building security tools. They were just creating these platforms. If you take Splunk, if you take Sumo Logic, companies like Tier 3 in Australia, they were all doing clever things with information, but then they realized that security was a good market for them. And so they turned their attention to that. But Splunk started in log management, does a whole bunch of other things now. But the observability side of things is perhaps going to be more important than the security side of things, certainly in the short term. But for end user organizations as well, this does create an opportunity for the security teams to not only be looking to get money to spend on their own problem solving, but also to offer that data up to other parts of the business to provide different insights on customer behavior, on user behavior, etc. This does require a different type of relationship, of course, which is not traditionally what security people have been about. But from an end user perspective, then ultimately security teams should perhaps be a bit more bullish in terms of the value that they're bringing, the information that they're collecting, but also then be thinking a bit harder about what that data can be used for and whether or not it's got value outside of their own problem solving. And that's an easy thing to say because like every other department, there's a lot of fires to be fought, there's a lot of problems to be solved. So to say, do more, think harder, of course, that's not necessarily an easy ask. But nonetheless, there is a premise which says now is a good time to fall back, regroup, think about what problem is trying to be solved at a higher level in the first place. Why are we collating all of that data? How important is it? And what else can be done with it, potentially? I'm not absolutely sure what the answer is, but I think it comes down to looking at the systems that are under management architecturally and reviewing what information is necessary to ensure those systems are working in a CIA way, confidentiality, integrity, availability, but also all the other manageability aspects, observability being one that I've already mentioned, and seeing how that information can be used. Also mentioned licensing to solve the needs of the overall architecture, not just the security aspects.